Welcome to video 7 of the Restorative Parenting video series. Today we're going to be talking about using restorative questions to address conflict. Conflict is a tricky thing to navigate for most people, especially if we were never taught how to deal with it in a positive way. As we've discussed in previous videos, most of us use the tools that were modeled for us, for better or worse. And our children will use the behaviors that we model to them. Restorative questions are questions to ask that help a person reflect on what happened, the impact of the conflict, and what needs to happen to make it right. Usually, when a conflict occurs, our first inclination is not to listen or let others share their perspective, but to figure out who's guilty, what rules have been broken, and what the punishment should be. But we can approach conflict differently. You can use the restorative questions when you and your child are in a conflict together, or when your child is in a conflict with somebody else, almost like a mediator. For example, let's say two of your kids are in a conflict together and you've intervened. You might let them know to take some time apart, then meet with one of them, walk through the set of questions, and then meet with the other one, ask the same questions. Then when everyone is ready, get the two of them together to share their thoughts on the questions together. The restorative questions are, from your point of view, what happened? Now, asking this says that you're not just assuming who's right and wrong, and no matter your child's part in the conflict, their perspective still matters. Asking this question and genuinely wanting to know the answer can really help disarm your child. The next question is, what were you thinking and feeling at the time? Of course, the way that we ask questions matters too. There's a difference between what were you thinking about at the time and what were you thinking? The next question is, how have you and others been affected? This is important whether your child was the one harmed or the one contributing to the harm. It also helps build up that empathy muscle, which is the thing that will truly drive behavior change. Next question is, what are you feeling now? They may feel differently than they did before. Maybe when the conflict happened, they were feeling mad and angry, but now that some time has passed, they realize, I'm just really feeling embarrassed by it all. The next question is, what part of this can you take responsibility for? Many times when a conflict takes place, it isn't just one person's fault. There's usually some responsibility that's needed on both sides. And all we're asking is for our child to reflect on what part they need to be responsible for. Lastly is, what would make the situation as right as possible? Often our goal is to punish bad behavior, and then we call that accountability, but they aren't actually doing anything to make up for what happened. And likewise, if they were harmed by somebody else, shouldn't they have a say in how it's made right? This is a very different way to address conflict than most of us are used to, myself included. When I was growing up, I didn't learn how to address conflict in a positive way. I either saw the adults in my life pretending that the conflict didn't exist or resulting to shouting when they felt upset. But when we practice using these, we get to model for our children how to think of conflict differently. And we teach them that their perspective and the perspective of others are all equally important. We are also communicating that we have confidence that they can help solve the problem and make it right themselves. For more information, you can check out the corresponding worksheet that goes along with this video, and thanks for watching.